pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, just a reminder to silence your cell phones. We'll start with roll call.
Mayor Sherman.
Here.
Councilor Horton.
Here.
Councilor Klinkhammer. Councilor Lundstrom.
Here.
Councilor Scalisi.
Here.
Councilor Spradlin.
Here.
Councilor Tyree.
Here.
Very good. Approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any corrections or additions on the agenda tonight? I just have in addition to board appointments, we have a committee appointment we also need to do. Other than that, if not, I'd look for a motion to approve the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda with the addition of the committee appointment for the regular meeting of January 24th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Tyree.
Yes.
Councilor Horton.
Yes.
Councilor Spradlin.
Yes.
Councilor Scalisi.
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. That motion passes. We've all had a chance to look through the minutes of our last meeting. Does anybody have any corrections on that? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve.
I move we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of February 10th, 2025.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Spradlin.
Yes.
Councilor Klinkhammer. Councilor Scalisi.
Yes.
Councilor Horton.
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Yes.
Councilor Tyree.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. And that motion passes. All right, visitors and delegations. We have someone from Sarah House here? No? All right, we were going to have a Sarah House presentation and give them a donation, but they're not here. So we'll move on to citizen comments. Citizens are invited to speak to council on any item that does not have a public hearing scheduled. There's a 5-minute time limit per person, unless otherwise noted by the mayor. Please note that no formal action can be taken on an item that is not posted on the agenda due to the open meeting law provision. However, they may be placed on a future posted agenda if action is required. Is anybody here for public comment? Okay. Management items. First order of management, resolution 2025-4, Dale Colrick.
Okay, thank you. One of the things that we looked at when reviewing our water rates is one of the things we did not adjust, and we really should be adjusting, is our bulk water sales. And we did kind of a survey of in and around the area of what other utilities are charging, and we felt that $5 a thousand is essentially just giving it away. And so what you have is a resolution where we're going to bring up the water rates to comparable areas. And so we're looking at $15 a thousand for those that is non-domestic use. These are the folks that come in and they want to fill up because they're going to go out on the interstate and do hydro seeding, or they're going to want to do boring with their equipment and stuff like that, put in fiber optics or whatever. These are companies that are making a profit, and so that's the intent behind this here. However, we are looking at a lower rate for those individuals who could potentially have a failed well and need to get some water to help get them by. And so with that, you have the resolution in front of you, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Okay,
All
thank you.
right, thanks, Dale. Anybody want to make a motion on that one?
Move approve resolution number 2025-4, resolution amending the rates and charges for water services to consumers and users within and outside the city limits.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Scalisi.
Yes.
Councilor Horton.
Yes.
Councilor Spradlin.
Yes.
Councilor Lundstrom.
Yes.
Councilor Tyree.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, motion passes. Board appointments. We've got some openings based on the shuffling of our council. We've got an opening on the East Morgan County Library Board as a council liaison.
I'd be happy to do that.
You want to do that?
When do they meet?
I don't.
What's that?
The library. Do you know when the library board meets?
Well, I've been attending it. It's on Wednesday. Second Wednesday?
The second Wednesdays? Okay, we can find that out.
If it's too early, it's hard for me to make it, but
Oh,
I can
okay.
do that one, I think.
Okay. Or did you want, have you been doing it, or?
Yeah, I've been doing it.
Oh, okay, do you want to
He's doing it.
continue doing it?
Yeah,
Okay,
that was my plan.
sorry, Nathan,
That's
there will
okay.
be another one. Okay, so
Looks to-
Counselor
No
Scalisi.
worries.
And then we've got a council liaison opening on the Brush Housing Authority. If anybody would be interested in that one. I know when Counselor Klinkhammer was on here before, he did that. I don't know if he'd be interested again. If somebody else is interested, we can see if he'd.
I do work for him, so I don't know how that,
Mm.
and I think Scott might work for them, so I don't know how that,
Well,
or did he did?
I don't think he
He
does.
did,
anymore.
yes.
I think he moved on to like
Didn't he?
childcare or something. so,
yeah, I don't think he does anymore. I don't know if he'd be interested in getting back into that or not.
It might be worth asking him if,
Yeah.
since he's already got good connections with.
Yeah. So maybe we can wait on that one until I can discuss that with Counselor Klinkhammer. Board of Adjustment. We need to reappoint Ken Weiser, Neil White, and Jeff Osich, it looks like. We need to vote on that? Do we vote to reappoint them? Okay. Oh, we need to vote to, probably need to vote on Dan for the library board, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
So, sorry.
Assumed he would always be here, so.
All right, so does anybody want to make a motion for Counselor Scalisi on the library board?
Can we combine them all, Mayor?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea, thank you. That's why you make the big bucks. Okay, so if everybody's okay, we'll reappoint Ken Weiser, Neil White, and Jeff Osich to the Board of Adjustment. Planning and Zoning Commission, we wanted to have a discussion, because it's when Jerry Dahl was, after having some discussions with Jerry Dahl, he kind of felt like our Planning and Zoning Commission was kind of heavily occupied by counselors. But that's how our code is written. We'd have to rewrite it if we wanted to change it. But as of now, we have it, let's see,
There's 2 counselors and then mayor, correct?
yeah,
Oh, sure.
2 counselors, a mayor,
An ex officio city administrator.
ex officio city administrator, and then 1, 2, 3 community members.
Did he have a suggestion on what he thought the appropriate number of city representatives would be?
I think it was just recommended maybe instead of doing the counselor, opening that up for a member of the public instead of, but we'd have to change the way our thing is written. So we just want to kind of have a discussion on that this evening.
Okay.
Not really vote on anything, but I don't know how you guys feel about that, or, because you're on it with you, how do you feel about it when you're there?
I'm fine with knocking a council position off of it. I think it's probably supposed to be more community
Mhm.
governed, just so that there's a little bit more divide. Because we have a pretty heavy vote in that,
Mm-hmm.
so.
The
yeah,
other-
it's fine with me.
The other problem you run into is if you see an application for specific use in quasi judicial setting at a planning commission as a member of the planning commission, and then you see the same application come to you as a counselor, that creates some issues.
Sure. Yeah, I think it'd probably be a good thing, honestly.
Yeah, I kind of do too. So we'll just kind of leave that open until we can get that rewritten, I guess, and then see if we can get some interest from the community.
Just for clarification, are we talking about all of the council members, not all those positions being changed to citizen, or just one?
Just one.
Just one. So it'll be the mayor plus...
One counselor. And then city.
It'll be 4.
And I don't think our code actually states the number of council members to be appointed to the planning commission. I don't think it says
Oh,
that
okay.
at all. I think we just filled that
We
in
just-
at some point in the past.
Okay.
It might be an
I
easy
was
change.
looking for it, and I'm glad you said that, because I'm like, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, some of our boards do have that, other ones is kind of
It's
a
not in
blank,
it.
so
Okay.
it's kind of inconsistent.
Okay, so we'll leave that open and try to fill it with the community members. So if you know of anybody that might be interested in planning and zoning,
Oh, I know a couple people.
then send them our way. And then another opening we have is Finance Committee. We have a counselor that would like to be on Finance Committee. That position was opened up by Counselor Grill. Right now, it's
Me,
Counselor
Justin.
Lindstrom, Justin, and myself. So we need one more counselor.
You can jump on it.
I can try it,
You do?
yeah, I can do it.
It's not bad. but
Yeah, it's not hard.
pretty simple.
A lot of responsibility, because, you know, when it's,
It's not-
everything goes south, it's kind of on us.
Yeah.
All right, so Counselor Horton to, so we just
Yeah.
meet at 5:30 before the council meeting.
Okay.
All right, so we can have a motion to approve those appointments that we've discussed.
What's the one with Ken Weiser and Jeff Osage again?
Board of Adjustment. And Neil White. And I will talk to Councilor Klinkhammer about Housing Authority.
You ready? I move we approve Dan Scalise for the Library Board, Ken Weiser, Jeff Osage, and Neil White for the Board of Adjustment, and Tyler Horton for the Finance Committee.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote?
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Scalisi?
Yes.
Counselor Horton?
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. Very good. That motion passes. Next we have our CDOT Revitalizing Main Streets Grant, Tyler Purvis.
All right, good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. In your packets is a memo I put together, as well as just a couple of exhibits from some RFPs that we put out last year. So for the sake of the community, I'll just read through the memo real briefly. In the fall of 2024, the city applied for grant funds through the Colorado Department of Transportation for the Revitalizing Main Streets Grant for the installation of festoon lighting across the 200 block of Clayton Street, rehabilitation of existing pavers in the downtown area, and final completion of pavers on the south side of Edmund Street. A request for proposal was done prior to the grant application submission for all three projects to strengthen the application, and a formal bidding process was going to be required regardless if funds were awarded. The maximum grant request for the program is $250,000, and the city was awarded a grant for $249,477. The total project costs are estimated to be just under $312,000. The grant requires a minimum 10% match, and we are partnering with the Brush Chamber and are planning on utilizing grant funds obtained through the Colorado Main Street program that the Chamber is accredited through to cover the financial gap. In response to the RFPs, we received bid submissions, but only one for each project. Therefore, staff recommends the selection of the following. For the festoon lighting, Colorado Lighting, Inc., for a project cost of $169,977. Integrated site services for both the paver completion and paver rehabilitation costs. The completion being $27,000 and the rehabilitation for $115,000. These projects are planning for completion by the end of June of this year. And so looking for council to approve or give us a thumbs up to go forward with these bidders for these projects. And then the pictures are attached there if you hadn't seen those before, for what those will look like. Should be pretty exciting for the downtown area.
Very cool.
And that's all I got. If you got any
Very
questions.
good. Thank you, Tyler.
You bet.
All right, does anybody want to make a motion on
I'd
those?
like to make a motion that we approve the CDOT revitalization of Main Street grants for downtown projects, bid awards as mentioned.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Counselor Horton?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Scalisi?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, motion passes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Finance.
Well, I'm getting back up there.
Oh, you were on it last week.
Oh, I went away from the page. I move we approve disbursements of payroll for February 11th, 2025 through February 24th, 2025, totaling $370,812.90.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Horton?
Yes.
Counselor Spradlin?
Yes.
Counselor Scalisi?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, motion passes. Staff reports. Tyler Purvis.
All right. A couple of things. We had our brush stakeholders meeting today, and so a couple of these topics we talked about today. The state legislation is in session, in case you didn't know that. They have 120 days to pass what seems like as many bills as they possibly can. As of yesterday, there was 460 bills that have been introduced so far, 282 from the House and 178 from the Senate. And if you watch that kind of stuff, the topics are all over the place, which is normal. But we do encourage everybody to pay attention, because what happens up there typically affects what happens here, both good and bad. And so if there's any concerns or questions that anybody has about those, there's legislators that are there to answer phone calls and emails and that kind of stuff. And we just encourage people to pay attention and participate and speak up about things that they want to see change or don't agree with, and that sort of things. We love our community here. We want what's best for it, but we're not alone and isolated in the decisions that are made on behalf of our community at times. So we encourage people to be part of that public participation process. Number two, we had gone around the group today with all of our stakeholders and just talked about general communication and asked for feedback on the city side if there was anything that they saw as improvements that needed to be made from the city standpoint, things and gaps that we're not quite filling. No one in that group had anything negative to say, which was good, with the exception of someone who was newer to town. They had mentioned when they moved to town that they didn't know anything at all. And so it just happened to be that Chris and her team at the front desk are working on putting together kind of a welcome packet for anybody who is new to town to get them connected with all the basic information with what's happening in the community. But communication matters a lot within the community. People have ways of taking something and taking it way off and right and left field and removing it far from what it was. So we want to communicate well on behalf of the city to the community. So if you ever hear feedback on us needing to do things better, please let us know. We're trying to do that. We have our website up there that we just revised, and so if there's anything that we're missing, anything that you think can be added or needs to be shifted, just please let us know, and we'd be glad to shift that. There's different accessibility requirements that are been in effect for a while, and the deadline is coming up, so Loranda is working on those, as well as Chan and myself and anybody else on making some changes on different aspects. There's some burdensome things that is required through this legislation that's tied to that accessibility, but we're working on that. We also, at those stakeholder meetings, go around and just ask for updates and just a couple of neat things that I figured I'd pass along. So the library always is tied into some pretty neat stuff that they're doing in the community, and including with that are a lot of educational components. And they have a free sign language class coming up for anybody in the community who's interested. So you can go to their website, I believe, and find out more on that. Morgan County Partnership, they come to our meetings as well. They're tied more into the child care side of things, a huge need in our community, and them trying to address that. They had mentioned that one of our local child care providers is going to be retiring at the end of the month. So aside from what's happening at the school district, there's only 2 in-home child care providers in Brush. So there's not a whole lot of services, so technically it's going to be decreased even more after they retire. And so that's a big opportunity. Anybody's interested in doing that, reach out to the Morgan County Partnership. There's tax credits for those who might be interested in opening up their home for that as well. Teaching opportunities, everything that they need. And then MCC, they come to our meetings as well, and they are looking to expand their teacher education program. They have some certifications and a 2-year program. They're looking to expand that into a 4-year bachelor's degree right at MCC, which is not normal. Typically, community colleges are just a program or a 2-year program, and then you go off to a university to finish that off. So they're looking to expand some of those programs, that being one of them. And then they're going to be doing a construction trade program soon as well, which that's always needed. Everybody in the trades knows that those are huge opportunities for work because there's not enough workers for the needs, it would seem. The local planning capacity grant, I won't dive into the weeds on this one right now, but that's the one where we're looking at planning out the area next to the golf course for housing, among other things, senior housing specifically. And we're going to be doing some community engagement with the consultant that we hired on for that on March 24th and March 25th. We'll get that information out to the community, but we're really looking to get some feedback from community members about senior housing. And then the last update, Tractor Supply Company and Maverick. Everybody's curious about those. So last week, Tractor Supply Company did close on purchasing that property, so that was a big milestone for them. They paid for their permit, they haven't pulled it yet, but they can just do that anytime now. Their general contractor is hired, they're getting all their subs lined up, so that's going to get rolling probably in the next couple weeks, as is Maverick. They've had their property for quite a while. They just got their GC nailed down, and they're doing the same kind of thing. So we'll see all those happening in the next month, and then they're roughly 6-month projects, so by the end of the summer, we'll have the commercial truck wash, Tractor Supply Company, and Maverick all up and running, which would be very, very exciting. That's all I got.
Very good.
Thank you.
Tyler.
Tyler, are you gonna be leaving the website up there? Was that?
Yeah.
Can you just put it to the priorities, council priorities
Yeah.
page? Thanks. Okay, who's next?
Okay, Chief Licksteiner.
Didn't come with an extensive list. The only thing I have for you is we are going to be holding a swearing-in ceremony for the new officers on March 18th at 6 p.m. here in this room. So I will also relay to Loranda. That way you get you guys invited. Typical thing, snacks, cake, stuff like that. So hope everybody can make it, but we're excited to have some more people on board. So if you can make it, we'll look forward to seeing you. Any questions? Will be right over.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Bill Corwin, Public Works.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Really don't have a whole lot tonight, and I know that doesn't sound like me. But, just our street crews are taking advantage of this fake spring to dress up some of these alleys while we still got some moisture in the soil yet, and we're kind of defrosting a little bit. So street crew indicated to me this morning that that's where they'll be concentrating, as well as trying to work on some trees. Other than that, our department's just trying to fill some employment here. We've had several employees that have separated from employment here, and so we're down 2 in the water department. We're down a part-time in the trash department and 1 in the street department, and so we hopefully get those filled here pretty soon. Other than that, the water department's still out trying to get all the new meters installed, which brings me to my next point, is that we are going to go for radio reads, and there's a required FCC disclosure that all council members have to make. If you have not done so with Loranda yet, please get with her as soon as possible to sign your disclosure that you don't have any conflict of interest with FCC and everything in line. So, other than that, any questions, comments? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Dale. Chris Poston.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Great to be here. In your packet this evening was a set of financials. They were an unaudited set of 2024 end-of-year financials. Kind of wanted to just give you a little bit of the flavor of where we were at this time prior to our audit. Okay. Just going to highlight a few items from our budget to actuals in the revenue and the general fund, and of course through our fire fund and also capital improvement is the sales and use tax. We ended up with $4.682 million in revenue when our budget was $3.385. So we did succeed quite a bit on our projected sales and use tax. We did have a special sales tax that was paid in February by Xcel Energy in the amount of $248,000. From what we understand, this could be a one-time or it can be continuous. It's just a special tax that they do pay. We are researching that with Colorado Department of Revenue as to how often, if they can give us an idea, and exactly what it's for. But it did happen in February. 20% of our revenue, sales tax revenue, has been coming from our online purchases. So it's great to know that we are receiving those as well. Property tax ended up a little over 1,049, and we budgeted 984. So there again, we had a 7% increase in our property taxes. So that's great. So our revenue did come in over budget, aggregate-wise, and looking at all of the revenue for the organization, with 2 exceptions, which was the franchise fees and our cemetery and burial fees. So we do know we're reviewing those and looking at raising those as well. Franchise fees, of course, has to do with those business and occupational taxes that we really don't have any control over. So that's how we are with revenue. With expenses overall, budget to actual, the departments were all under budget, which is exciting to see. Looking at an aggregate of about 21% under budget. So kudos to all of the directors, the department heads, and the supervisors for doing their due diligence and securing the best price for their O&M products in 2024. And also what helped with that is some of the capital items were carried over to 2025, and some of those, and specifically with the police vehicles. And there again, we did extremely well, even with having the 2 large projects that we had with Cambridge and Prairie Trails. So management did a really great job of taking care of that. So we are in good shape as we keep going into 2025. We will continue to monitor the sales tax and of course our expenditures. There again, just want to stress, these are unaudited figures. Our audit has been scheduled for Tuesday, April 22nd through Friday, April 25th. And the goal is to get it done early. So, do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
Jan.
I have nothing there.
Jacob?
I think Monty will probably touch on mine.
7th Circle?
Yeah. So,
All right, we'll get them on.
Okay, mine will be pretty quick. I asked Tyler to leave that up on the screen up there. The city council priorities for 2025, and it's here for the public, it's here for council members, and even today, when I was scrambling looking for the notes I was going to prepare, I wanted to look back at the priorities, and I go, before I start digging, let me just go to the website. And so I think it took like 2 or 3 clicks and I was there. And I actually mentioned this to at the stakeholders meeting at lunch today as well, that we have this online. And just a reminder that it's there, just for a quick reference for council members. And this is what we are looking at on a weekly basis, just to ensure that we are on track with the priorities. And I just simply color code these and see, I just go green, yellow, red. and so tomorrow, at our staff meeting tomorrow, we'll discuss these just a little bit. But everything that you've heard this evening, things that we've talked about, almost every one of them are items that are part of the priorities. And so when Tyler was talking about the development tractor supply company, I'm not sure, he didn't mention the Brush Agri Park, I don't think he did, but we are actively looking at marketing that now, using our stakeholders group as a sounding board on the direction that we're going with that. But all of those are part of economic development. The housing project to the west of town, that's one of our priorities. The RO system / protecting our water resources, Dell works on that on a weekly basis. But I'm just bringing that up just so you guys remember that's the direction that we are working on things. Active older adults this Friday at 10 o'clock at the VFW. Active older adults, anyone over 50 years old. We're trying to get input together more of what direction we want to go. There's a small working group that meets, I believe, at the Emporium on occasion. And then once a month, we're planning on just having a larger group get together. So this Friday, it's going to be biscuits and gravy. so it's going to be a quick breakfast, small breakfast. And then at the last one that we had, Tyler was a presenter. This next one, Dell's going to present and on a couple of topics. One is just in general about our water system, water rates, projects coming up, and recycling. And so this all kind of leads into Another one of our goals was developing strategies for community engagement. And so, in a sense, we're going to use this group to try and get out information whenever we can as well. And I think it's going to work out pretty well. This is going to be the third meeting, and the group once asked us, they just made a comment, they don't want the city to tell them what they need, they'd like to come up with their own ideas. And so the first 3 meetings heavily sponsored by the city of Brush, and then Lance is going to slowly step back and let the group kind of move forward with all the different ideas and projects that they have. And the VFW, it sounds like we're working towards a long-term working relationship with them so that we have a place always to gather and get information out to those that need it. The other thing is the Rural Fire Board, they did reach out.
The Seventh Circle, that's, why do I not know where that's?
Over on the east side of town.
So that's in the floodplain,
Yep.
so it's really hard to build. So-
And it's not completely, I mean, it seems salvageable when you drive by. I don't know, that's just, I don't know.
And then before we did anything, Todd and I already talked about this, we'd have it evaluated just for structural integrity and if it's feasible to keep it or if it makes more sense to knock it down.
It's been open throughout all the weather and all that stuff too, right? So
Mhm.
it's probably not great on the inside.
So, but we'll keep you apprised of it.
Is it possible for the city to purchase that property?
I don't know how that works with all the tax liens.
Well,
Just
do you-
curious, is
do
there
you
something
believe
like maybe we
anything?
could if the house is usable, redo the house and use it for,
Yeah,
like how we do some of our others with police department or?
yeah, that was one of our plans originally. We'll take a look at the structural integrity first before we make a decision going
Okay.
forward. And that's all I have. One other thing. There is one of our priorities, the swimming pool discussions, and that is our swimming pool is getting older and older and more expensive to operate. And one of the discussions that Lance was hoping to have in the near future is what direction should we go? Because it takes a long time to save up money. How are we going to pay for a new pool? Do we need a new pool? What direction we want to go? And so my directions for Lance is let's focus on Prairie Trails Park and get phase one at least complete before we throw something else on top of his workload already. So once we see that Prairie Trails Park is totally complete on phase one of that project, then we will start having some more community engagement to talk about the future of the swimming pool. And that's all I have.
All right, Mayor and council reports, do councilors have anything?
The active older adults thing is 50 and up. It's so young, 50-year-olds. I'm 49.5, so
That's what happened there. I got nothing.
I don't have anything either. All right, so we do have a short work session tonight, so we'll look for motion to adjourn and move into our work session.
I'm going to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned.
Keep waiting for that day.